Alex. Thanks for joining me. We are in sunny Florida. I love it. I want to talk a little bit about your background because now you're in the software space, but you came from restoration. You are a restorer at heart. Despite being super young, you've been around the block already. So tell us your background and your role that you had with Rome Xterra before you went and founded Albeeware.
Yeah, so I started in the restoration space in 2014, so that's about 7 years ago. Started a restoration company with my father at my father's garage. He was a subcontractor for large fire restoration companies and kind of wanted to go off on his own. That journey was nice, exciting, explosive. The Chicagoland market's pretty big, so we were able to see pretty aggressive growth throughout that time. And back in 2020 was when we started seeing some technological issues within our company, and we started a project. I kind of started with somebody else, who was my technical co-founder. We started a project to implement technology within Rome Xterra, our restoration company, and that eventually turned into what is now known as Albeeware, which is our job management system.
So what were some of the big pain points that you were seeing where you thought, we need something new, something fresh?
So a couple of things. We used to use 33-mile radius. I don't know if you're familiar with that, right?
Yep.
So 33-mile radius had a platform where a call would come into their platform. It'd be recorded. You would listen to that call, and then you'd dispute that call, whether it was a valid lead or not. So everything started from the frustration of not having calls logged, not knowing what your people are doing, and the what if of, can we get a project to start from a call directly into your system, eliminating the tedious data entry. So with a little bit of research, we found Twilio is the back end that powers the entire world's voice over IP solutions. And we found that we can build something with that. So we built that, it worked, and then from there stemmed, the entire job management system. The concept is, how can we get a job management system that collects data, is usable, and provides this transparency back to upper management? You have 50 employees running around, but you don't know what they're doing. So through voice call recording, through text message recording, through emails, through automation, you can basically record all this data, gather all this data, and not have your technicians have to update 5 different fields, to get one piece of data in.
Okay. How'd you come up with the name, Albeeware?
So it's actually my mother-in-law's name.
Okay.
She unfortunately passed away 2 years ago. But she was innovative. She grew up in Colombia, lived in Colombia, and she was one of 6 teachers, and she was the only one to drive a car. So she was kind of up there in the sense of doing things that nobody else does, that challenges the status quo. And we were looking for a futuristic name. We were looking to get into AI, so we were looking like something similar to Alexa. So we wanted like a female futuristic name, and her nickname was Albie with a Y, and it just kind of clicked with us. And then we said, hey, core values match, and the name matches, so that's where the name came from.
I love it. That's a good story. I like that. All right, so you and I have been talking about here how restorers seem to be a little lacking in leveraging technology. Some contractors are really, really good at it, and they're driven by technology in their companies, and others aren't so good at leveraging the technology that's out there and only use maybe 30%, 40% of a software's capabilities, right? So what do you think that restorers need to be doing to better leverage the technology that's out there? Because there is so much right now, and I think we're going through a phase where there's more innovations in the industry than there has been in a while.
I think the most important thing for restorers to understand is how much time technology can save them, and how many tedious tasks technology can replace. So right now we're experiencing an all-time labor shortage. It's really, really hard to find people. So the best way to be able to optimize your existing staff is to eliminate those redundant tasks. I actually saw an ad for one of Actionable Insights' products that said, Estimator plus Xactimate can pump out $1 million. Estimator plus Xactimate and a Matterport camera can do $2 million, and then them plus their program can do like $7 million. So the concept is, if you implement technology, whether you like it or not, whether you're technologically savvy or not, you can save time and make your $50,000 employee produce a lot more than they're producing right now.
So as people become more interested in software that's out there, what do you recommend for companies that are struggling to get buy-in from their team? Like, oh my gosh, we're changing software again. I don't want to learn another software. How much do I have to use this? What happens when there's lack of buy-in?
So I think one of the biggest reasons we didn't have buy-in at Rome Xterra was ease of use. So I think the most important thing is you have to think of a technology that solves a problem, like don't fix something that's not broke, but also that solves it in a simple manner. Because our technicians technicians hated, having to put in different dates and notes and, keep track of 10 different things, and then they didn't have internet, so, it wouldn't upload. So I think to get buy-in, the first thing is it's got to be something simple. It's got to, the pros of putting in that data needs to outweigh the cons of the actual work of putting in the data. But the second thing that we tell our people is that we are able to make them make more money. Because at the end of the day, if we have better data that we're collecting, right, and displaying to ownership, and we can make better decisions, right, and jobs aren't falling through the cracks, right, our technicians are leveling up. By them leveling up, well, now they can basically be worth more in the long run. So if we look at labor market in general, and if we look at, how technology, let's just put it in the tool side, has helped, even carpenters and restorers overall grow, we're not doing the same tasks that we used to do before. We have technology that's working for us that makes us do less of the manual lifting or the tedious redundant work and more of that specialized work.
Yes.
So explaining that to technicians, I think, is important. And we had really good buy-in with Albeeware when we first launched a rather beta product 2 years ago to run Xterra, and everybody loved it compared to what we were using before.
Okay.
So.
So moving a little bit away from software, although it might still have to do with technology, what are some ways that you see as someone who's younger in the industry to keep or to make the industry more attractive to people who, we're going to run into, we already have major hiring problems, right? But if we can't figure out a way to make our industry more attractive to Gen Zers or whatever, we're going to have a bigger problem moving forward, right? We're going to have nobody to hire. So do you see any ways to overcome that? Any recommendations you give to companies?
I would say, working within your community and trying to educate your community about the trades is really important, and that's something I'm passionate about. I speak at high schools about. There still is the stigma of we have to go to college. I was pressured into that, so I'm a college dropout, and there's still a negative connotation within my family that I'm a college dropout, right? And that still exists. So it wasn't as prevalent before because the demand for the trades wasn't as high. But now more than ever, it's very important to let people know, look, you can make six figures being a plumber, right? You can go to school for, a couple months, right? And then go through an apprenticeship, and there you go. And it's not because of technology, being a plumber, I've seen plumbers dressed in dress shirts and nice jeans and nice shoes, and they put on gloves and they do their jobs. Technology has made it to where it's no longer, you're, in scuffy work boots with torn up jeans and you're going to get dirty up to your neck all the time. So I think the biggest thing to get this newer generation involved would be, let's educate them, let's get involved in our community, and then provide good programs to where somebody entry level can come in and work their way up.
Yep, a career path. We're not just here for a job, we're here for a career, and kind of sky's the limit. I did a podcast a few weeks ago with somebody within PureClean who's been within PureClean since 1988.
Oh, wow.
And she's held almost every position within the company now, but that's crazy, right? That's a long time to be within one company and shows career path there. All right, anything else you think that we should talk about? How was business planning for you? How did this go here?
Business planning was good.
Who'd you bring with you?
So I brought my CTO with us. So he's kind of the technical guy behind Albi. And we decided to come out. We're Violand clients. So we decided, hey, this would be a great way to, one, connect with existing clients, potentially find new clients, but also put together our business plan. So we got a lot of time narrowing down our mission statement. So we got that. I don't know if you want me to read that for you.
Sure. Why not?
And then you can let me know what you think of it. So.
Okay. What if I hate it?
Well, you can say, I'm a straight shooter.
No, I am
honestly.
Too. No, I am too.
I'd rather have you tell me that you don't like it versus not tell me, right? So,
Yes.
But let's see if, and I should have probably memorized it by now too, right? But it's still so new.
I thought it was funny walking by, because I came and chatted with Alex at his booth yesterday, and I walked by and just saw his CTO's computer, and I was like, that's a lot of code, and I couldn't.
I wanted to start learning some of that, but my CTO told me, no, don't. He's like, you're too ADHD, you're too all over the place, you're good at talking with people and, learning all that, but don't even try to learn how to code. So
that's all right. Staying in your lane, right?
Exactly. So, but no, I think it's really important. I've seen other restoration software startups, kind of happen within the industry. It's really, really important to have a really good CTO who knows his stuff. The reason behind that, it seems so easy. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, like our budget, we started with $300,000 developing Albee. We're over $1.5 million into the product itself. It's very easy to say, okay, well, I want an app that does this, and it shouldn't cost so much. But then you dive into rabbit holes, and then it ends up being something a lot bigger. So I'm really blessed. Him and I went to college together.
Okay.
So I've saved him a couple times from falling asleep in class. We became really good friends first, and then I was able to convince him. So he was working at a pharmaceutical software company. So they built an AI that could basically help not give improper medications to people in nursing homes.
Okay.
So they manage the nursing home aspect, and then on top of that, they would look at the medications that are getting administered. And he was actually bound to leave for Microsoft. He had a job offer at Microsoft. He wanted to live the corporate life, things like those. I wanted to build Albee, and I pushed him. He's like, all right, look, we'll give it a shot. And then eventually loved it so much, saw the business model, and then he invested, and we were 50-50 before
awesome.
Funds around him. So back to that mission statement: to empower service contractors to embrace existing innovative technology by making it simple and accessible.
Okay. Do you see technology in other industries? It is good. Good job. Sorry, my head, as soon as you were talking about that, went to my next question. Do you see other technologies in other industries that you think are applicable in restoration, or like a good example of what could be in the restoration space?
100%. I mean, a lot of things that we've looked at applications in other industries. So when it came to our marketing piece, we looked at, HubSpot and Salesforce and some of the, how do you simplify some of those very powerful tools? And at the end of the day, what we're doing at Albee, we're not coding a phone system, right? We're taking existing voice over IP and texting technology and bringing that back to the restorers. A restorer can't go to Twilio and say, I want this phone system, I want to buy it. It's not accessible. A restorer doesn't have, restorers struggle with Zapier too, which is like an automation engine, right? So how do we take that technology that exists, that concept, and then basically simplify it to where a tradesman can actually use it? We look at Service Titan, for example. They're a HVAC, plumbing, home service, CRM. The phone call feature and dispatchers being in the phone, automated scheduling. Those are all things there. Being able to geolocate your trucks everywhere. Bluetooth beacon technology is now starting to emerge back into the restoration industry within the past couple of years, but it's been around for ages. I mean, the Internet of Things has probably been around since 2011, right?
Yep.
So it's just not simple. It takes a restorer to look at what's the problem. I'm losing equipment. How do we solve it? Well, there's this Bluetooth beacon technology that makes it work, and then develop that or implement it somewhere. So
where are you going from here? What's your 5-year goal, your 10-year goal? What are you going to do next?
There's a couple of things I can't disclose.
Sure, that's fair.
So there's a lot of, I guess, big things that I can't disclose, but our biggest announcement that launched right now in November was our automation platform. So existing CRMs and job management system within the restoration industry have some automation, right? Automating tasks pretty much is the most popular one. Let's get a technician to do this 10-step to-do list, right? We took it to the next level in the sense of we made Albee communicate with 2,000 different apps, and we have automation 2.0 basically in the industry. Sending a postcard to a client that's a handwritten postcard, right?
Yep.
Giving a personal touch after they've signed on with you.
Yep.
Sending an email or a postcard to a referral source, to an agent. Automatically sending a plumber gift card, right? Automatically sending a text message and an email to the client every single step of the way. So that technology existed, right? Like Thanks.io that does postcards existed. The problem is it was never implemented within a restoration ecosystem. So we did that, and then we white glove that automation. We have an account manager that's a technical person that restorers have access to. So instead of them trying to research, okay, I want a plumber gift card to go to Bobby, they just have to tell us, hey, Albee, account executive Margarita, I want you to help me with this. Margarita will do the research, she'll implement it, flip the switch, and then the restorer has that. So the restorer can stick to being the visionary of, I want this to happen, as opposed to the restorer trying to click buttons and build workflows and draw little arrows all over the place. Like, I feel like that's where people don't struggle, and that's why people don't adopt it. You know, if I look at my operations manager at Rumexera, he's awesome at running a restoration business. Probably not very good at, you know, drawing little workflows and boxes and creating triggers and actions and things like those.
Okay. All right, so before we wrap it up, yesterday you asked me who I think are some of the big influencers in the industry right now. And I'm curious what your take is, because I know that you're paying attention and I see you around in the industry and on social media and traveling and stuff like that. So I know that you have your pulse on things too. So I'm curious who you think are influencers right now.
That's a very good question. I mean, I think Mark Watley and Actual Insights, they made a pretty big splash.
Yep.
Ben Justinson with Enlighten Restoration Solutions. I'm an Exactiment certified trainer too. I look up to him, and he claims that he has the most advanced mitigation training, and I completely endorse that based on what I've seen.
Okay.
I believe Jeff Cross, right? Or it's Ed Cross.
Ed Cross.
Yeah, the attorney.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep.
Jeff
That's
Cross is with the ISSA.
Yes.
So, right, but
Yep.
I confuse him all the time. But Ed Cross has made a splash also. I like the groups. I think, you know, both Norp and the Rebels have created groups. I guess my critique with them is, hey, let's work together and do something bigger, as opposed to just keeping it as a group. But I think definitely there's a lot of value in those groups and how people communicate and talk and things like those. So hope that helps.
Do you think the industry has more is more active on Facebook or LinkedIn right now?
I think my opinion is changing because I've hated LinkedIn for the longest time ever, and now I'm starting to use it more.
Yeah.
I'm kind of impressed with, like, there's, I think, a restoration group with 16,000 members on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So I think LinkedIn, there's a lot more than I expected. But my opinion or my vision for a long time was that Facebook was more active. But now I'm seeing, like, there's actually a lot of restorers on LinkedIn. Good for them. Like, that's awesome.
I agree with that. And I think, like, the caliber of conversation you're starting to get on LinkedIn is different than what you get on Facebook. So, awesome. Anything else you want to add before we wrap it?
No, that'll be it. Thanks so much for having me here.
Thanks for chatting. I appreciate it. Good luck with the rest of your business.
Thank you so much.
For more Restoration Today, visit our website, cnrmagazine.com, or find us wherever you get your favorite podcasts.